Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and these crazy liberals cannot stop accosting J.D. Vance, our vice president. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. And if you're not watching us on YouTube, please check that address in the lower right-hand corner. It's youtube.com/@explainamerica. And when you get there, please hit subscribe, absolutely free. It really helps us out. Vice President J.D. Vance was giving a speech on economics and the trade wars, the tariff wars that are going on right now. And he also got into illegal immigration and how illegal immigration hinders the economy. Now, it was at this point that he started getting heckled from somebody in the audience. Now, J.D. Vance, over the past 2 weeks, has been accosted himself on a Vermont ski trip with his family. Then he and his 3-year-old were accosted walking down the street by pro-Ukrainian protesters, and now he's accosted by a heckler when he's talking about illegal immigration. These people don't know how to play nice. They don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to not be visceral and how to not be just, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's just bothersome. You know, have a protest, write a letter, do what you want to do. But when you get in the face of people like this, I'm just not a fan of it. Not when it happens to Democrats, not when it happens to Republicans. But Vice President Vance, he's one of a kind. He's just like Trump. He doesn't back down. He doesn't shy away from the controversy. He will come right back at you. And that's what he did in this instance. I want you to watch this video and let me know what you think in the comments.
The cost of energy, these things are about the supply of housing. How do we get more houses out there to be built? But I think it's important to talk about the demand side of the housing market. And so much of what we're doing in the Trump administration when it comes to the immigration issue is framed about law enforcement, about reducing fentanyl coming into our communities. And that is true. That is a big part of why we're doing what we're doing at the border. But when we talk about housing and why costs are so high, we don't talk enough about demand. And one of the drivers of increased housing demand, we know, is that we've got a lot of people over the last 4 years who have come into the country illegally. And that's something we have to work on if we want to meaningfully reduce the cost of housing too. Now just think about this. If you allow 20 million people to compete with American citizens for the cost of homes, you are going to have a large and, frankly, completely preventable spike in the demand for housing. And that is what we, of course, have seen, because while we made it a little bit hard to build homes in this country over the last 4 years, we've also, unfortunately, made it way too easy for people to compete against American citizens for the precious homes that are in our country to begin with. Now, I'll say this, it's actually not just an American problem either. If you go to Canada, where because of their laws and regulations, they've seen a massive increase in the number of people who have come into their country. You go to the United Kingdom, you go across the world, and you see a very consistent relationship between a massive increase in immigration and a massive increase in housing prices. And we have to be honest about that. Well, I see one of our nice representatives out here wants to actually, I guess, continue to flood the country with illegal immigrants, making your communities and citizens unaffordable. But, ma'am, with all respect, one of the reasons why we're doing what we're doing is because we want to make it more affordable for Americans to live. That is one of the reasons why we're doing what we're doing. Now, last week, I visited the southern border, and we decided to check in on what's going on there at the southern border. And of course, like I said earlier, you often hear about immigration enforcement as about crime and about drug trafficking, and that is a big part of it. I was at Eagle Pass, and I was talking to local border control down there, and they told me that in just a matter of weeks, their small part of the border had gone from 1,500 daily encounters to less than 30. And again, that's in a matter of weeks. That's just a simple matter of common sense border enforcement. That matters. Thank you.